Okay. Something got struck fairly close in the woods here, straight out east or slightly east-northeast. I was watching a guy talk about a prediction of the Empire Strikes Back, having never seen it but only had cultural osmosis, as he put it. So I had footage recorded for the last 36 hours, basically Thursday through Saturday morning, of trying to deal with the roof and everything else. The rain was coming and all this other stuff. And it rained about 2.5 inches overnight last night. It was predicted 3 to 5. I prepared accordingly just in case, and I was not upset that I didn't have to vacuum out my house. Things went okay. Now the ground is saturated. It's supposed to rain 0.42 inches, and I'm supposed to not get cocky, because if it does, it's going to possibly still need to be vacuumed. And I've already set my living room back up. It is what it is. Spiritual warfare is also in play. There's a Gnostic book called Thunder Perfect Mind. If you're ever interested to read something very, very cool, read that. It directly correlates to a reference in the Gospel to Sons of Thunder. Right there. I'm going to reconvene at the other door, be a little bit farther from the windmill, just in case. So I had all this video footage put together, and it's got deleted, and the phone was acting really crazy. My tablet's been acting funky too. So and every single attempt I've made to articulate it has come off just ranty and insane, so I've deleted them too. I unfortunately also deleted, in my frustration, after the phone stopped malfunctioning, I just said, you know what, delete everything I've recorded today, including a bunch of really cool stuff down in the woods in the super flooded creek. The previous lightning video with a reverse speech analysis on it said something about a test. The shape of some of these clouds are definitely rolls. What was building into this storm were these large horizontal rolls of like moisture. It wasn't just like poofy clouds turning into a storm. And if you go back a couple of years worth of my outdoor videos of the sky, I'm talking about some interesting looking rolls. And if you know anything about paleo-biblical history, you gotta understand where some of these dudes came from. If you have eyes to hear or ears to listen. And I'm not saying that that's what ever it is that I'm interacting with is, but it certainly feels like it. I've been complaining about just in general the way these changes to the YouTube algorithm don't seem to ever make a difference when it comes to certain type of channels. And I think it's a complete bogus excuse that it's just an uncategorizable channel. There's lots of categorization of just a video in a lot of cases, because you can search. Otherwise, if you search for a topic of a particular thing, you would get every video from a channel, not just a relevant video from the channel in the results. Sounds like a cop-out. Went and had lunch with I would say with my best friend today. And dude helped me out seriously at the tail end of the pandemic, of all the insanity. Made it so I didn't lose anything. And so I'm paying him back. So we went and had lunch, and the folks involved in my semi-retirement state now, at least one person connected was present. I don't know to the full extent what his actual role was, but I can't rule anything out. And there was people, and there was fun interactions of interesting nature. My friend gets up and goes to the bathroom, and different people come around. I haven't done anything. It's not like I have a reputation like that, but it's just, I don't know, it's like they know. I went to the gas station today. It was the same. It was very much a, well, I mean, it's easy to understand. The guy that owns a place is good with people and remembers folks for real. I'm like that as well, so it wasn't surprising there. And I said to my friend, I said they attacked me. On the spiritual battlefield, they attacked me. In an unrelated conversation, he said, it's a good thing you did the thing because you probably weren't going to have to use it. I'm glad you didn't have to vacuum your house out. But surely if you hadn't done so, you probably would have had to. And I said, that's kind of the thing. It's the way it always is. So I'm not pissed that I did the work, and I'll not be pissed to have to do the work if I got to open it up and vacuum tonight. Weather forecasts have been so wrong. I don't know if it's the smoke or what. I did mention something in the videos that got deleted about the fact that some of this rain feels almost alkaline. If there's a lot of smoke up in the atmosphere that's getting into these clouds, as it comes down in rain, it'll be wood lye, which can be used to make soap if you've got, like, you know, bacon grease sitting out with the top off or whatever. You threw it out in the woods or whatever. I don't, but if you have something like that, like, you know, a place where there's, like, you know, some fat, the lye on the fat when the rain falls would cause it to sud up like soap, if that's the case. And I just had a weird skin reaction last night after being on the roof. The only other thing being that likely possibility to cause it is something in the plastic contractor bags. They seem to be scented. I was like, why do I smell Lysol when I was sitting inside? It was my hands, and the last thing my hands had touched was the plastic. At a crossroads in life. I'm not looking to sell nothing. There wasn't that much of a lightning show last night. Just a ton of rain. I even described it in the deleted video as a Back to the Future storm. That's kind of what it was last night. Ain't gonna be what it is tonight. It was so loud where the main rain was to the north, actually hitting Sperry. That caused the creek to go up 5 foot deep, or even 6 foot deep. Like, it'll swallow you. The current is really strong right now. It was still rising. This rain will make it go up too. Everything up north comes onto it and goes down. It was raining so freaking hard to the north, it felt like an earthquake. It was shaking the ground. I had these minimal drips in my buckets. I had the living room pulled up and ready to go, just to, if water came in, nothing was going to get wet, and I was going to vacuum it up real quick. It's only supposed to rain here for a little bit, so if it's going to do this thing, it's going to be in my house by midnight, if it's going to do it. I don't think it's going to do it. Something got struck right out in the woods at the start. The electrical center hasn't moved that far yet. There was a super low. I don't know if that'll show up in the audio, but right after, like almost immediately after that, big long bolt went across the sky. The last big one. There was like a I had the experience before the onslaught of the real hard weather, and it turned out to not nearly be as bad as it was predicted to be. Spent the entire time with the lead up to it, and hour by hour receiving these idiotic comment replies on a freaking, this is what's weird about it. I'm having a theological discussion, a debate or an argument or whatever, if that's what you want to call it, with some person in a YouTube comment, but the comment was him being snarky on my comment about a whole hog roast, that I mentioned something about a whole hog done right with the juices cook inside, and it's naturally smoked as it's slow cooked and everything, and like as if Jesus himself had come down and barbecued it for you, and roasted it for you, whatever. And it's, oh, Jews can't eat pork. And it's a whole argument, this whole argument, and it was so goofy. And I didn't get rough or anything in the comments. I just was like, are you sure about that? And this person changed it all around and all this other goofy stuff, and I inferred they might be a buffoon. And perhaps the buffoon was I. But as that one went, and I really didn't move my position in the slightest. I was like, yeah, no, I don't. Here's a thing in the New Testament that says, and the irony being that back in the day, I would have been the one using the Old Testament to argue against somebody who's a believer in the New Testament. But I don't think he was making a good faith argument, so it's like, whatever. Person arguing like a black Hebrew Israelite, and their username something about great white God or something, almighty white God. And it was like, trying to use Old Testament to argue New Testament. There's specific places where things are mentioned and discussed and they're addressed, and other places where they're not, and other specific places where they're asked about it, and it's like, it is what the law says. There's different interpretations on different circumstances throughout the narrative of it, and this person was just bad faith arguing in the wrong, and I just parry, and every time I parried, the storm got less worse. This is soothing. I think I'm going to upload this uncut, and then I'm going to also do the remove Doohickeys RSA. I'm going to cut this short fairly soon. I'm not really trying to scope out the crazy bolts per se. There's been some real good ones here, but it's the synchrony of all these things. That's the point. Remember, Thunder, Perfect Mind, also Apocryphon of John is a good one. Raindrops in the view. I took a walk in the woods and looked at all the down trees and other stuff that's going to need dealt with come the fall. And now after it looks like something might have got struck, I'm going to have to go down tomorrow and take a look again. Well, this has been fun, but I'm going to stop this now.